Welcome to All About the Experiences. This is my 31st episode. I had to take a month and a half hiatus off, but I am so excited to be back in this familiar place to talk about all of the interesting and challenging and wonderful experiences that my guests bring to the platform. We are on the cusp of Mother's Day weekend, and although my mother is no longer with us in body, her spirit lives on within me and my siblings. As a matter of fact, I launched this very podcast on her birthday, Juneteenth of last year. And it's almost hard to believe that it's been a full year. Not trying to rush the year, but we're sneaking up on me. I cannot wait to celebrate the All About the Experiences 1-year anniversary with you all. So look for announcements that'll be coming out soon about this first anniversary celebration. And if you have any ideas that you want to talk about or have me talk about or have a guest come on, please feel free to reach out to me, Cheryl at All About the Experiences. And if you ever want to know what's going on with the All About the Experiences brand, by name, you can go to the website allabouttheexperiences.com. Today's episode is so very special to me as it's a first for the podcast. Today, I'm welcoming the Divas to the platform. Who are the Divas, you ask? Well, they are a group of dear friends whose friendships span decades. Their faith, families, community, and passion for creating a space at the table for their downlines, much like me, have created a wonderful bond between a beautiful group of women affectionately known as the Divas. We are just basically beaming when we come together, and I think it's something special that, or innate, that women have. We all know that the support of a sisterhood is essential as we navigate through life. Sisterhood means loving and accepting someone where they are, but consistently inspiring them to their highest potential in God's will for their life. The Divas are the personification of sisterhood. And trust me, as we get into this conversation, you will understand why. These Divas are mothers and wives and grandmothers, sisters, aunties, and they're all of my aunties. Let me just say that. Dear friends that come together and bring a wealth of experiences to the table. 5 of the Divas went to college together at Oakwood College in Huntsville, Alabama. And some of their ties go all the way back to elementary school, Golden Gate Academy, which I also attended in Oakland, California. So without further delay, I welcome the Divas, Louraine Mitchell-Meyers, Noelette Leader-Hutton, Janice Lindsey-Willis, Karren Banfield-Minor, Sharon Spears, Beverly Ward-Gregg, and unfortunately, my other auntie, Sharon Clough, couldn't be here, but she's here with us in spirit. So I welcome my aunties to All About the Experiences. Hi, aunties, and welcome. Oh, I'm so happy to have all of you here. I'm going to give you a moment to take yourselves off of mute, and we're going to get this conversation started. Wonderful. So just give me a hey, Niecy, when you're on and you're unmuted.
Hey,
Hey, Niecy.
Hey.
Hi, Niecy.
Oh, well, this is just a wonderful, wonderful treat. You know, one of the things that I like to talk to my listeners and my viewers about is, you know, I bring many people on my platform to share their experiences, and we talk about how we know each other. And I'm very fortunate. My auntie by birthright and blood is my auntie Lou, or Auntie Louraine Mitchell-Meyers. And through her, I gained this wonderful, wonderful array of additional aunties that I can tap into for advice and that I can be inspired by, because let me tell you, you ladies are beautiful, but super intelligent and really grounded and rooted in your communities and in your faith and on our churches. And I'm so fortunate to be able to say that I have such amazing women ahead of me and before me that are paving a wonderful, spiritually filled life for me. So thank you all for that. I want to start off by welcoming again each of you. Auntie Lou, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to put you in the hot seat because, you know, you're the resident auntie. I'm so happy. I know that when this airs, it's going to air right before Mother's Day weekend. And one of the things that has been truly a blessing to me is, you know, I've lost my mom a few years back, and my auntie Cheryl, who was a part of the Divas as well. And I'm very fortunate to have this wonderful group of women here, as I said before. But Auntie Lou, I appreciate you standing in and being that resident mama for Megan and I. So I can't give you enough roses. You know, they tell you, give people their roses while you're here. And I'm so happy that that's always been the case in our family. You know, we are a very tight and close-knit family. And I'm just so fortunate that I have you to rely on and stand in there and stand in the gap. So thank you for that. So I'm going to start off by saying, how did we get here, Divas? How did we become the Divas?
Well, I don't know. It started so long ago. I recall that it started, I think Noelette came out here to sing. And we all said, let's go hear her at church.
Okay.
So we all showed up, and then we just decided, well, let's go out for lunch or dinner. And then next thing we knew, we were going out for birthdays and all sorts of things.
I love that. So I don't know if you all recognize this beautiful face of Miss Noelette, or my auntie Noelette, but she has blessed the platform previously and shared a lot of her history and background, and just the pathways that she's made, not only for young women like myself, but also her beautiful daughters. And I want you to basically tell us a little bit, or refresh us about the singing that brought all the Divas there to come see you and form the Divas.
Well, you know, this is so amazing because when I came out to California, I wasn't sure if I knew anybody. And I was coming out to see my daughter. And then Jerry Warren, a friend of ours, a wonderful friend of ours who's now deceased, heard that I was in town. He called me. He asked me if I would speak one Sabbath morning and sing. And so I, you know, agreed to do that, never thinking that I would see so many of my friends here. And so they came out to support me, and I just was so amazed. I was so happy because I hadn't seen them in decades. I think the only one that I saw more frequently was Janice, because Janice lived in the East Coast for a time at Pine Forge. And so, you know, we saw each other more frequently. I'm not even sure. Karren, I think I might have seen you a couple of times at Brinklow in Maryland, but, you know, basically I hadn't seen anyone. So to see them, I was thrilled. And then Louraine invited us out, and we just went from there. It just grew. And it's so amazing because even though we weren't as close, I think I was closest to Louraine at school, but coming here and having been married, having our children and growing, it's like we fit just like a glove, each one of us. And it's just been amazing for me to know that I'm so far away from family, but yet I have family here, and they are really my family.
You know,
From there, we celebrated birthdays, and Sharon Clough and I celebrate in June together. So we went to this unique location called the Penthouse in Santa Monica. And Louraine, with her creativity, bought this beautiful pink cloud sign that said happy birthday. And then that traveled with us for several birthdays. But Noelette, we were so excited to have her join us. And that, of course, they had been together doing book clubs before.
right.
But this group got together at the Penthouse that June. And then from there on, we just made birthdays a time to get together. And it's been so much fun.
I have to tell you, and I think Auntie Lou will tell you, you spoke of her book club, Reading with Passion. And, I've always been an avid reader, partly because, and I think I shared this on previous podcasts, is that I had dyslexia. And so one of the things that my mom, in her infinite wisdom in high school, they put me into speed reading classes to help me transverse some things and get a better understanding. But reading has always, when they say reading is fundamental, it's definitely been a fundamental part of, my upbringing and growth. And I would look at Auntie Lou and see all her girlfriends and her book club members get together. And I always thought that was the coolest thing, that you all, no matter what's going on in your lives, you have that one thing that brings you all together, and you celebrate it, you enjoy good food, the experience. And I think I was blessed to be able to go to one of her book club retreats. And when I tell you, this was the culmination of me becoming an adult. I was just like so excited. So it was in Palm Springs, if I'm correct. And we were there, and it wasn't just, it was kind of exciting just to be able to go out of town and hang out with the big girls, if you will. But beyond that was just to see that sisterhood that comes with having women that come together and have a shared passion. And so I have to tell you, Auntie Lou, thank you for setting that, because later on, I ended up starting my own book club. And I was I tried to mirror it after what my aunt was doing. And so I just want you to say, when they say that the babes are watching, I was watching, and I'm still watching. I think that's amazing. So you all get together. We go to fabulous places in Santa Monica and elsewhere and have brunches and celebrate each other. I have to ask you, like, how do you guys come to a consensus on where you're going to meet? Or do you have is Auntie Lou the resident party planner, if you will?
No, it's Janice.
Auntie Janice.
Yes.
Auntie Lou does all the fabulous, most perfect posters. I don't know how she does it. She finds all the perfect posters for our celebration. And we each have, our own niche. And my thing is finding fabulous places. I'm the resident vacation planner in my household.
I love it.
I love to find places to go. So that's my thing. But anyone who knows different areas, we ask each other, because we want to know, not what do I want, but whoever's birthday we're celebrating, what do you want? And that's key in friendship, because so many people, when they give gifts, they give what they like. But the reality is, what's meaningful is what that person enjoys. And so each birthday, we want to know, what does that person prefer? What kind of food do they want? And then we plan accordingly.
I love that. So they're truly celebrated as you all are coming together. That's, I have to tell you, so that's something, and I know some of my girlfriends are listening. We're going to get there. We eventually get there where we're going to get, but there's a lot of back and forth. But I love that you put that birthday lady at the helm and let it be surrounding her. You truly feel special. Let me just say that. So let me ask you, what was the last birthday that we celebrated? Who is the last birthday?
Karren.
Mine.
Karren,
Yeah.
Auntie Karren. So what did we do for your birthday, Auntie Karren?
We had to Zoom. Thanks to COVID,
Yes.
I Zoomed right here from my office. Everyone was at home, but it was just as much fun because, when we're in the Zoom setting, we're seeing each other's faces. It's almost like we're sitting around the table.
Absolutely.
And we usually celebrate with a cupcake and a candle. We sing happy birthday.
Okay.
And we tell our stories, and, and it's almost like we're in the same room. So we are thankful for Zoom. And last year, no, it wasn't last year, because last year my birthday came during a time where we had, it was a sad time for Louraine, because her sister just passed.
Right.
But I guess it was the year before that, I actually invited all the girls to my place for dinner, for lunch. So
Yes.
I decided instead of us going out and, trying to divvy up tabs and do all that stuff and spend extra money, just come to my house. I cooked for everyone. And then we saved our extra dollars and walked over to the Nordstrom rack because I lived in Woodland Hills at the time. So, we just had a grand old time just being at home that time and shopping and eating. And we always give gifts. And so we sit and celebrate each other's gift giving time. It's a wonderful experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Yeah.
Well, you brought up an interesting point, because we would be remiss if we didn't mention, everything that's been going on with the pandemic. And so with that being said, we've all had to find a way, and I refuse to use the P word, pivot, but we all have had to find a way to shift. And I don't know about you ladies, but when this first started, in my lifetime, I've never experienced anything remotely like this. And for me, I'm used to technology to some degree. I've done hybrid meetings or fully, on Zoom and things like that. But when I had to make that shift in my personal life, with even how I interacted with my family members. Auntie Lou, I'm here in San Diego County, and just getting on the highway to go up there, we were all very cautious because we didn't know, what it meant to go see family and check on someone. So I'm very fortunate for the, FaceTime and Zooms and Teams and things of that, but it does not take the place of getting a big hug from your auntie, or, just being able to connect. And even though this is lovely, great medium to use, I missed human touch. And even though I have a house full of people, I have a husband and 2 kids, it's still not, you were missing that, being able to connect with your divas, or my sister, or, it was a multitude, and you realize that you can't take those opportunities for granted. So I just want to kind of go down the line, and you don't have to say a whole lot, but just what was the biggest shift for you during the pandemic? And anybody can hop in, whoever wants to go first.
It's interesting to me. I don't feel like we've really, though we've had time away because of the pandemic, we have found a way to be together. Now, Bev has moved, Karren has moved, and yet I barely know that they have moved, because we don't just get together for birthdays. If someone has a situation, we're there, we're talking, we text almost every day. And when I say we text, I am going to sleep on these women's texts. And I wake up in the morning and there are 39 texts on my phone.
At least.
I was going to text.
But it's the feeling of being able to call one another, to know that something may be happening, good or bad, and we're calling one another. So we're just not a group of women going out to eat. We spend Christmases together. We, go to lift each other up at funerals. We are there for each other.
Yeah.
And when we don't always agree on everything, but somehow we work through that. And it's a sisterhood. It's a love fest. It's really, and it's not fake. It's not contrived. It's something that's real,
That's beautiful. Auntie Janice, you were going to say something?
Oh, I just mentioned on teaching days, it's like 60 or more.
I'll never forget that. I just retired November 2019, and the
Congratulations.
Thank you. 44 years.
Wow.
The hardest part for me is you feel so frustrated because I couldn't have a cell.
Uh-oh.
You're on
I
mute.
think you went on mute.
We lost you.
Did I? Am I
There
muted?
you are. Now you're back.
Here you are.
Okay. I couldn't have a cell phone. And so there was nothing I could do to catch up with these texts from 8 o'clock in the morning until I got in the car where my cell phone is at night. And you said 60 something. I want to beg your pardon. I want to say 160 texts. I'm just scrolling like, okay, let me catch up,
Of all of the likes
Oh,
and
every,
exclamation marks.
exactly.
Every
Yeah.
movement is a ding.
Exactly. Exactly.
And Cheryl, I want to tell you this too. It's so interesting because you mentioned elementary schools. I was in elementary school with Sharon, with both of the Sharons in Boston.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because her father, of course, is an evangelist, world renowned.
Yes.
He came to Boston probably to do an effort for 2 weeks. And he stayed how long, Sharon? For 2 years?
6 months.
Is that all? It
We were
seemed
there
longer.
6 months. We came back because my sister got married to Philip.
Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, when you think of all the experiences, and then Louraine, you went to school. I've seen pictures of Louraine with Janice and Bev when they were little girls, and Karren. It's just
Yes.
it's so amazing. I won't say crazy how we've been brought together at this time. And I love it that other people love when we share, our experiences together. It's amazing.
I enjoy following you on Facebook, and it's interesting because sometimes technology can be a little temperamental, and but I see you all posting, and I'm just like, wait a minute, let me get my posting game up. I want to go there too and have my girlfriends, and I love that because what that says to me is all of these remarkable and amazing relationships and friendships that you all have amongst you continue to live on, and we're able to celebrate. And again, I think I start off with saying this is that you all set the tone, you paved that path for women like myself that are coming up and looking to have that connection with, someone outside of my peer group. And it's really lovely. And I think even Auntie Noelette, when you were on the podcast last, and you embraced me and you shared so many wonderful insights. And I had so many people reach out to me and say, wow, I want to live like just one of her chapters, and it's lovely to have that. But I think having a platform such as this allows us to share with the masses. And I will say this, one of the things that I think that connects us all is our faith. I'm very blessed. I will say this, when I was younger, because I went to church on the Sabbath, people in my neighborhood would ask me, well, why are you going to church on Saturday? How come you're not going to church where everybody else goes on Sunday? And I can honestly say back then, I didn't know. It was like, because this is where the whole family, we go to church on Sabbath. This is where but I stood in that, and it didn't bother me that I was different. Actually, I was thinking, while you're sitting in church on Sunday, I get to be outside playing and doing all the things that I wanted to do. But as I got older, I recognized what that meant to be rooted in my faith and to have like-minded Christians that were around me. And when, Auntie will tell you this, when I get in trouble up there at GGA, if my mama couldn't make it up there, it was grandma or one of the aunties, Auntie Cheryl. Yeah, I had a great community of people that were around to support me in that. And so with that being said, I know that you all have attended Oakwood together and also Golden Gate Academy together. What does that mean that your friendship is also rooted in your faith as well? Auntie Janice, you want to hop in? Oh, Auntie Lou?
No, I was go ahead, Karren.
No, I was just going to say it makes all the difference that we go back that far and we have that spiritual connection. We have a trust you know, that comes with having a spiritual base. And going all the way back to Oakwood, like Noelette said, we didn't hang, and for the most part, I think we hung in different crowds at Oakwood. But when we got here and came together, it was like we never missed a beat, and it just took off. It was like we've been the best of friends for the 40 years since we graduated. Has it been 40 years or 45?
45.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
And the
I
amazing
would
thing
never
is none
say
of you
that on
ladies
the
look like
air.
you're 45.
and you know, we have friends outside of the Divas. You know, this is a special network for sure. But we have other friends, you know, through church and through work, and there's no competition. Everybody has value. But this group is just, you know, it's a whole new level of friendship. You know, we've gone to Santa Barbara for Ev's birthday. We've done the beach. We had the purple pool party at Sharon's apartment, which was fun. We've done so many things, and we talk about everything. And we, you know, we pray for each other's children. And I think that spiritual connection that we have prompts us to not just pray for ourselves and what we're going through. And collectively, we've been through a whole lot of stuff. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we can share, and we can cry together. We can laugh together. We can laugh at each other. We could probably get mad at each other, but you'd never know it because we get over whatever it is, because no one needs to insult anybody. So I do think that having God as friend number one, and everybody else in that, you know, that God-fearing, strong woman circle, you know, it works. It definitely works for us.
I think this friendship is so important because it's not about one little thing. We have a million connections that we have established. I think one of the things we enjoy when we get out in a restaurant or wherever we are, it's critical that we go live with our Facebook. And we do that for fun. I think we all want to be singers like Noelette. We all want to have a platform to sing.
Well, believe me, I sing to Noelette's albums. I put it in my car and I'm singing along with Noelette.
Yeah. But the fun part is all of these people come on and look at our live, and they just love watching us sing. And we all have our parts. And everybody that comes on, we hear someone talking about our lives on these birthdays for weeks afterwards. It's so fun. But we are setting an example of true friendship, and that's what they say. They wish they had a connection like we have. But we're kind of a lot of us are preachers' kids. We're based in the church. There's, you know, the foundation. Yeah, no, that's what you all are.
Well, the four of you, Janice, Karren, Sharon, and Bev are pastor's kids.
PKs.
PK. Yeah. Yep.
But you know what I like about it? I like the fact that we can be real. I like the fact that we don't have to be perfect. You know, we don't have to have the makeup on. We don't have to feel like we're living a certain lifestyle. You know, if I hurt, I can say it. If I don't like something, I can say it. You know what I mean? I think we're a safer place than the superficial relationships you have in other places. That, like Karren said, we all have friends, and we all have really very good friends. If we made this group, we could easily, each of us, bring in other friends and make this group more than 100 strong. But the fact is that somehow, and I know God used Jerry. He really did. He really did. And Jerry called these specific women to come. And, you know, if I could say anything, is that we can be ourselves, you know, we can be real. And that's where I think the spiritual aspect comes in too, that it goes beyond what people have to see or the appearance that you have to have outside. And I love that. I love that. And our children love it. My daughter, she loves this group.
All of
She
our,
loves this group.
yes,
Trust me.
So often
But-
women are depicted as being catty and petty and at each other.
We see a
And
whole TV full of that.
you know,
Yeah.
but Noelette started with our genuineness, and we don't put on airs at all. We just are. And those bonds, the intersections are just very amazing. But God brought us together, and it's rich. And the more time, as with any relationship, the more time that we spend together, the deeper the bond has become. I think it was
Absolutely.
2016 when we went out initially, and we've been going out since. That's going on 5 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kill me. I'm not even supposed to be here.
I know.
That's the truth.
But I think we all would agree, I think we all would agree this wouldn't be as structured if it weren't for Louraine.
True.
Yeah.
Her organizational skills, her nudging, oh, we got a birthday coming up. Oh, we've got this event. Oh, so-and-so's doing that. She's so organized and faithful in making sure that we know each birthday, what each person wants, Amazon, H&L, whatever, it's so specific. And like Janice said, there is no better artistic person. She's fun, she's artistic, she's ethnic.
Yes.
It's just an unusual trait that she has. So I think we really owe homage to this lady more so than anybody. She's just
Absolutely.
I always say she's
Absolutely.
the glue.
Yeah.
She's the glue.
Absolutely. She is. She
She
is.
is definitely the glue of our family. I can speak personally. I think about all the things that she's made happen, even before my mom passed away. Auntie was, I used to look at her and, for me coming up, I was looking, I watched the Cosby Show and I was just like, she's just like Claire Huxtable. She has it together, can make things happen. We all get to go places. I think about what we would do for the kids when we would drive from Oakland down to Los Angeles. It was like something that we would look forward to because we knew we were going to have a great time. And let's face it, she's fashionable. She knew how to decorate, drove a BMW. I was like, I'm going to be like my auntie when I grow up. And I say all that, but honestly, she is definitely the glue. I think you said it best. And even more so now, I look and I having this opportunity to meet with all of you and not just watch you on Facebook Live, but to be able to interact and just know that people draw from that energy. I think my grandmother used to say this, you get back what you put out. And when you put out good vibes and good energy and that caring and loving spirit, you're going to get that back. And that is absolutely evident in this group. That is for certain. And it just sets the tone for women like myself that are coming up. And, unfortunately, when you look at television, the way women, in particular, Black women, are being depicted, it's sad. And, these are things that, I think about my own daughter who just turned 25, and these are the images that are put before her. But the images that I want her to see are images like what I have here on the screen before me, and realize that you can have relationships with your girlfriends. And like you said, they're not catty. We may fuss and fight, but it stays within the group and we take care of each other and we support each other. And it's a sisterhood. And that is quite evident here. And so I just want to say thank you all for showing a true example of sisterhood.
I have to share what our greatest new joy is.
Please.
We got together for Karren's birthday And at the end of celebrating Karren's birthday, Bev told us she had an announcement to make. Bev's joy has lit up Facebook and her new relationship. She said, girls, I want you to know, I want you mean something to me. And my brother-in-law texted me this morning and he said, 2 widowers got together. My. And we have been ecstatic.
Yes.
To watch God bring Beverly and Michael together.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Because we are so thrilled.
It's
Now
nice
she
to
can
hear.
go on from there.
No, I won't go much further than that. But the biggest thing I think that has happened to this is the focus, the baseline foundation of this group is our spirituality. I really believe that we have been given a leader in Noelette who we have been begging to write a book, because what happens in the daily text, I don't think we miss a day where we don't text, is that we give mainly, but there's others that chip in all the time. Louraine, all of us chip in our own way. We chip in to remind each other why this is working, and it's because of the spirituality of our souls connecting. And there's nothing better than that, looking at this thought of the day in the morning, and then you realize, not only am I close with these girls, everything personal, every pain, every joy, I want to share with them first. I want to talk to them first and get their input and feedback. And so that's, Janice, thanks for saying that. Last year was a nightmare. You asked, the very first question you asked, how are we coping through this pandemic? It's been hell. But it's been joyful because we literally lift each other up verbally, spiritually. We'll call behind text, we'll talk separately, we'll talk jointly. We really have a spiritual bond that is unique for our age. I mean, it started 5 years ago, and I'm just so grateful for the foundation that has been set by the Lord to say, girls, you can't do this without me. So I thank you for that.
I know this group has meant so much to me because I've been going through some things, and they're always there for me, praying for me. And I love each and every one of these groups here, my divas, because they all are special to me in one way or the other. And I just love them. They're special girls.
We love you.
Cheryl, it's so interesting because this is something that is, when you talk about people perceive Black women a certain way, and Black women go through so much, and we get it from every way, and to come out not bitter, not angry. And it's because when you have these kinds of relationships, the Holy Spirit moves in such a way that if one is hurting, someone else will get a message or a little something that Karren will send. Just, you think it's out of nowhere, it's not out of nowhere, Louraine will put an encouraging message. Any one of us, Janice, I remember one time, Janice, it's my daughter's birthday, and Janice knew what she liked. We don't live close together. She called me and she said, are you home? Are you going to be home such and such a time? Yep. Didn't know what she was talking about. She came over and brought something for my daughter, just out of the clear. You're thinking, what's going on? I may be alone. I may feel alone. We have chosen to make a conscious decision to make sure that none of us feel like we're alone. You know, we've had deaths, multiple deaths. We've had losses, multiple losses. You know, some of us have had to relocate. And yet we take the time to make the time to not just think about ourselves and our lives. We're thinking about each other. You know, if we don't hear from somebody, you know, what's going on? It's in your head, you know. And so I think that's the beautiful part of it. We each have our own lives. We each have our own situations, but we're each there to support one another in a way that goes deeper than just, hi, see you, nice to know you, some reunion or some church function or some concert. We're there every day. We're there in one way or another. We're there.
Yeah, and
I'm grateful.
Not only do we have the group text every day, which is always nice to know that your sisters have your back no matter what. But outside of the group text, individually, we're reaching out to one another here and there, you know, on the side.
Yes.
So you may know something that's going on that nobody else knows, or you just have a special urge to tap someone on the shoulder outside of the group. And so, I mean, there's that going on as well. So that makes it even nicer when you get a one-on-one. You know, it's not always 7 talking. Sometimes it's just one-on-one, and that's good too.
Absolutely.
And we don't know when it's happening most of the time, but we know it's happening, you know.
Right.
And one of the funny things that happens with us is, you know, I miss Sharon Clough so much. I wish you were here today. The fun part about this challenge is everybody's not computer or phone savvy. What you've got to know is Sharon Clough did not even have a cell phone.
What?
For 90% of the time that we have been together.
Oh, wow.
Right? No cell phone. And we're like, how? So she'd get to work and we'd have to worry about her being able to talk at work on her work computer and figure out how we can coordinate everything. But Sharon, when you listen to this girl, you have made us so happy by your nephew buying you an iPhone, and although it may not be the latest, I don't know if it was an iPhone 5 or
do they still make those?
No, it was the latest.
Okay. But once she got that cell phone, all of us have been chipping in trying to get her savvy. It's just been the funnest thing that we've been able to.
Now wait a minute, Bev's lying. All of us have not. Okay, here's the deal. Not me. And as Beverly was saying it, I was saying, you know, this each of us have our own characteristics, a special thing that we bring to the table. That's just real. We each Sharon, all of us, you know, Janice. Beverly has so much patience. Where I would say, all right, get off the phone and read the instructions and learn how to do this. No, and trust me, somebody had to tell me, and they still have to. My daughter keeps having to tell me all kinds of stuff, but she has so much patience, and we're waiting, and Bev is like, okay, Sharon, let's just go over and let's just do this, and that is Beverly.
And
that
now
is
that Sharon has it, she's the one putting the posters in each day that are very encouraging.
Yes.
Monday, God's with you, and she's the one doing it all. So
yeah,
but she still needs to set up her voicemail. She has.
Well, that might be deliberate though.
One thing at a time.
And she needs to use Waze or Google Maps because she drives to the location we're going to meet at the day before we go, so she'll know how to get there.
But she's a
I
road
love
runner
it.
anyway. Sharon likes getting out there and going.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
That is the
Yeah.
truth.
I think she's the only person I know that has never stayed in all of COVID.
Yeah.
She's done everything she's supposed to, but every time we hear from her, she's coming back from someplace.
Exactly.
You
I love
asked
it.
for traits for each one. I chose conscientious for Sharon Clough.
I love that. Well, I'm kind of glad you said that, Auntie Janice, because I wanted to kind of segue into that is, obviously you all are rooted in just so much positivity. I love the humor. It makes, I'm sitting here, my cheeks have been activated. I'm laughing so hard. But I want to start with you, Auntie Bev. We're going to start with the first letter of the first name, and then we'll go to the next person. But what is the one thing, and let me see who would be next, Auntie Karren. What is the one thing that you can say about Auntie Karren, or the trait that you admire most about her?
Wow. There's a lot. No, there's a lot. It's not a little, because Karren and I go back to when we were being held by our daddies as babies. That's how far we go back.
Wow.
Our fathers were roommates in college. Go figure.
Wow. Wow. So you all are true sisters, for sure.
Yeah.
Our mothers are divas.
That's the truth.
That's right.
That's true.
Never in flats, always in high heels and dressed to kill. Karen's mother is off the chain even today. I think the fun part about Karren is I don't care how long it's been since I've talked to her. We pick up like we never, ever separated. And like Noelette said, we all went to the same school. We were in college at the same time. But we didn't hang out. We all had our own different niches. And that's the unusual part of this thing is, although we have the connections, the time that we are apart, it is so refreshing and so rewarding to know that we can just pick up where we left off. And that it's nothing better. It's just nothing better than that. So I enjoy the consistency and the loyalty of my friend Karren. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Auntie Karren, I'm going to move over to you and have you tell me what is that one trait about Auntie Lou that is just that thing?
Well, we all have mentioned her planning and organizational skills.
For sure.
Which I truly admire and somewhat envious of, because I'm one of those last minute people scrambling. And, Lou's like planned 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month ahead of time.
For sure.
Definitely admire her skills in that regard. And she's so humble about it. She's not looking for the limelight or, to announce, okay, I planned this. She doesn't do any of that. She just quietly plans and she sits back and she watches us enjoy the fruits of her labor. Sure. And I really like that about her. She's
Thank you.
She's cool like that.
She is cool like that. I can definitely share this with you. Part of my day job, outside of being an executive assistant, is also being a corporate events manager. And to me, those two things that I do are like I said, I learn from the best. And so that would be my Auntie Lou, and I made it into a career. So well, Auntie Lou, I'm going to go to you next. And I want you to tell me what it is, that one trait about Auntie Janice that you just absolutely love and adore.
Well, first her hair, because it's so cool. I love
that.
Cool.
She has beautiful hair.
Yes, she does. And the fact that we've known each other since the beginning of time, I think before the flood. Yeah, we've probably known each other. And Janice and I used to be neighbors. When we were children, we lived around the corner from each other, and we used to go bike riding. And
same address, different street.
Right, yeah. Right behind, right?
2476.
Yes,
I remember
right.
Uncle Ronnie telling me that. He was just like, literally, the girls were right behind us.
Yes, exactly. So she's kind of been like, I remember when we were smaller, I kind of thought of her as my little sister, because we were so close. And our families have always been close.
Mm-hmm.
So Janice is just a good person.
Absolutely.
You go to her for anything. I'll tell you one instance when Cheryl passed. Same thing like Noelette said. She called up and asked me if I was going to be home. I said, yeah. This girl showed up with a complete meal.
Oh,
Totally fixed, including the dessert.
now that's a good friend. She brought the dessert.
Was it strawberries?
With strawberry pie. But you have to understand that she doesn't live close to me. I mean, she had to travel like 2 days.
Absolutely.
Very dependable, just a good friend.
That's absolutely beautiful. And I can attest to that. When we lost Auntie Cheryl, which I'm her namesake, it was definitely a challenging time for our whole family. And so with that being said, just knowing that you lovely ladies rallied around my aunt, because she was certainly the support for all of us. We call her the resident mama. And they, she and her sisters were the mamas, but she's the resident mama. And like you said, Auntie, you're the glue. So that's wonderful. And it makes me feel good to know that you have such a beautiful network of women that support you.
Absolutely.
Then I'm going to go to Auntie Noelette. And Auntie Noelette, I want you to let me know something fantastic about Auntie Sharon.
Boy, Sharon's like my little sister. I absolutely adore her. And she has such an appreciation for other people. I mean, she really, really, even sometimes, a lot of times above herself, she always sees something good in other people. And I so admire that. And let me tell you, Sharon loves the unlovable. She does prison ministries like no one that I have known. And I have been to prisons from one end of this, not in them, but to sing or speak. And I tell you, when I see the respect and the love and the appreciation that the men have for her in the prison, and she's like that with all of us. She's caring, and she does not absolutely want to hurt anybody's feelings. She will lament and she's just so loving. You just want to stand in front of a train if she's standing in front of it to protect her, because she's just that good. She's just that kind and caring about people. That's just one of the many things I love about Sharon.
That's very well said and absolutely beautiful and fitting for sure. Well, with that being said, Auntie Sharon, I'm going to ask you to tell us something wonderful about Auntie Bev.
Beverly? Oh, Beverly, she's a jewel. I don't know, I love her intelligence, because she just seems to know everything. I love the way she cares for other people too. She's an amazing woman. And I'm just so delighted that she's with Michael now. That I don't hate me for saying that, but I'm so happy for you two. God put two people together that deserve to be together and to be happy. And I'm just happy. It's just, I know it was God. So, but Beverly, I don't know. Beverly, you have a kind heart and a giving heart. She's giving. talk about the times when we were on her boat. I mean, we lived life with Beverly. She is, I mean, those were one of the most enjoyable times that we've had together was on her boat, celebrating birthdays and thinking about the birthday when I wanted to go on the beach and she brought all those little pastries and everything. That was so special. She's just Beverly. She's just so, I guess you could say she's kind of like her mother, very eloquent and like Karren's mother, kind of like that. That's the order I get.
You mean like a diva?
Like you're like a diva. Yes, like a
All of
diva.
us?
Yes.
Okay. You're precious. Thank you.
But I love you. I love, like I said, I love all of you. You're very special women.
Very you all are truly very
and
special.
I appreciate Janice because she used to let us come to her home to celebrate all the different Christmas and all that it was, and her strawberry shortcake.
I'm gonna have to get some of this strawberry shortcake.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I have to tell you this, ladies, just as you've gone around and, you know, without hesitation, you were able to share something very unique and personal and genuine about your sister and your fellow divas. And what that says to me, you know, in watching this, and I think about my daughter and the young ladies that are coming up, you know, sometimes we're so infiltrated with, you know, people trying to one up each other. You don't get that from this group. All you get is love and praise and support. And that is so needed. It's so needed. And all I want to do is continue to emulate what you all are doing, because it's positivity and it's that comfortability amongst your sisters that are cut from a similar or same cloth, which definitely makes you feel comfortable in your friendship and knowing that you have that foundation of trust and love and that spirituality that we all share. And I know you're on my platform, but I have to tell you, I'm very appreciative of you bringing me into your fold. And that means a lot. It means a lot that I've had you all support. You know, I see when my aunties are looking at my post and say, go girl, go Nisi. And that just, you don't know what that does to me. It warms my heart. And, you know, as we're on the cusp of Mother's Day, and my mom is no longer here, but she was one of my biggest supporters. But when you really truly take a step back and you look around, you realize I have a lot of support, and I have a lot of support in the women that she's brought into my life by way of her baby sister, Auntie Lou. And I'm looking at these aunties and I am truly blessed, and I don't take that lightly. So thank you for that.
Cheryl, would you mind if one of us, Karren or anybody, Lou, if we just mentioned Sharon Clough and
please, absolutely, yes, I would love
we
that.
left her out.
Oh, we started with her.
Oh, we did?
We
Yes,
did,
I
but
said
you
she
know
was
what?
conscientious.
But we
Oh,
want to,
okay.
in her absence, I want to say, I mean, she was right there on the spot when I reached out to you, lovelies, and she provided me with photos for the promos and also background and bios.
That
and
would be Sharon.
yes, she was on it. I'm just going to say she got the A. I got her stuff first. So.
I'm sure.
But
Sharon Clough and I took a lot of classes together at Oakwood because we were both English majors.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I got to know her quite well at Oakwood. But what I do like, you know, she was an elder at her church for what, 20, 25 years.
Okay.
So she has that unique spirituality that the elders have, you know, that wisdom. And so I can appreciate that wisdom that she has. She's very level-headed, you know, and she's very trustworthy. Yes. So she sometimes brings us back down, you know, when we're flying off the handle. We might count on Elder Sharon to bring us back down.
You have to have one person in the group that has the ability to bring us back down. I love it.
Yeah, but she can eat more than any of us put together.
Oh.
Just saying. Sorry, Sharon.
I'm sure Auntie Sharon is going to want to come back and have a conversation about that.
She enjoys her food.
I love that. Well, ladies,
She's
as
the
we're-
littlest one.
Mhm.
I love it. As we're getting towards the end of this wonderful conversation, I want to put this out on the table. This has been truly beneficial for me, and I know that it will be for the listeners and also the viewers of this video. But beyond that, I feel like obviously each one of you bring your own ministry to the table. And I can tell you just from where I'm standing, I receive your sisterhood and I want to emulate that. I mean, I've started a sisterhood amongst some of my closest girlfriends. And as my mama would say, your hope to dies that you have and you could share your innermost feelings and thoughts with. But my thing is that I would love to have you all come back to the platform and have a roundtable discussion with some other ladies, some millennials and, folks I don't like to throw out there because, I'm over 40 now, but, folks, in my age bracket, if you will, but I feel like we have so much to learn from each one of you. And I know that we would benefit from that leadership. And I would hope that you all would come back to my platform and have that conversation with other young women who need to understand the value of sisterhood.
That would be
I have
fun.
to say, you have to be a role model, because when you said you had a 25-year-old daughter, oh my goodness, you're a role model.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, I'm my baby.
You all have
She's
to look like twins.
Yes.
only she's almost a whole foot taller than me.
Wow.
Right.
But I'm very fortunate. I'm cognizant of how I move because of her. And because I recognize that, I had role models like you all ahead of me. And I tried to be that role model to my daughter, but I recognize that they're completely inundated with all kinds of other imagery. And I try to be that balance and share and still be cool mom and have fun, but also bring that that foundation that I got starting way back when at Golden Gate Academy and having my aunties have to come up there and teach me how to be a lady and, mind your P's and Q's and, dot those I's and cross those T's. And I'm trying to make sure that those are the things that are passed on to the generations that are coming behind us. So thank you for laying that groundwork for me. And I'm certainly going to lead the charge with my group and my generation to make sure that we're doing the same for hers and those that are coming behind her as well. So thank you for that.
We're proud
You're
of you.
welcome. Yes,
proud of
absolutely.
you.
You're amazing.
Yes.
Talented, beautiful, intelligent.
Mm.
Thank you for having us. We're excited. We were
Yes.
excited about this. This was good.
That's right.
This made my day. Well, I did want, and I hope that this will be okay with you all, but one of the things that I said, obviously we share the connections through families and friendship, but we also share that connection I started off with saying in our faith. And I would love, as it is Sabbath, or Sabbath is quickly approaching, I would love to bring in the Sabbath with you, divas. And Auntie Noelette, I would be honored if you brought in, and I don't want to put you on the spot, so I'm okay if you decline, but one of the songs that my grandmother would sing is "Day is Dying in the West."
Oh, yeah.
Now, out of
Okay.
all of the Mitchell girls, I can't sing, so I don't want to leave that off. I have other talents. Singing is not one of them. But I would be honored if you would lead us in "Day is Dying in the West."
Okay. I don't sing that, but here we go. Day is dying in the west. Heaven is touching earth with rest. Wait and worship while the night sets her evening lamps alight through all the sky. Holy, 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 Lord God Most High. Heaven and earth are full of thee. Heaven and earth, they are praising thee, O Lord Most High.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much for obliging, and the spirit is truly amongst all of us. Before we close out, I always like to give my guests an opportunity to send, as us young folks say, a shout out or give recognition to anybody that you want to. So the floor is yours, ladies.
I'd like to send a prayer out for Sharon Spear's son. It's just a time right now that we are all on edge because he's not well right now. And we know, we talk about it a lot, but I think anybody watching this can be inspired if they know that the first thing on our plate is to lift up those family members of ours that are not doing too well. So for Christopher, we really, really lift him up tonight, Sharon.
Thank you.
But shout
Thank you,
out
Janice.
somebody, shout out.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'd like to give a shout out to any woman listening tonight. I'd like to give a shout out to those who sometimes feel that you're not important, sometimes feel that you don't matter. If you woke up this morning, you matter. You have a purpose and you have a God that loves you unconditionally. And I pray that you find, and if you can't find it, ask God to find sisters like we have found in each other. But know that you are deeply loved and that you're never alone. Never, ever alone.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Come on, Lou.
No, I think it's just important to emphasize that it's connecting with ladies that you enjoy spending time with, who you value, who value you, who nourish your mind and who lift your soul. I think that's kind of what we embody in the Divas. You know, we're not a clique. It's just 7 good friends.
Perfect number too.
Perfect
We
number.
bring in, we bring in a lot of our friends, but somehow that perfect number 7 is biblical,
Yeah.
It's meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think just giving a shout out to the need to, through all of these crazy times, the political world and the pandemic, there's such a need to have some joy in our lives, and there's such a need to have some laughter. because I truly believe laughter is the best medicine.
Mhm.
So one of the best things about our group is that when we're together, it's loud and it's crazy and it's full of laughter. And, and we laugh at each other, we laugh at ourselves. But, it's healthy and it just it gets your adrenaline going and your dopamines going. We don't need therapy. We just need each other,
Yeah.
So.
And don't be surprised if the next time you see us, Cheryl, we all have wigs on because we want to go wig shopping.
Well, that's my thing, right?
Oh, I don't know that. I don't know that.
I must call you.
Now
I've been asking
we're gonna
forever.
stop using the Clairol. That's what we're
Right.
gonna do.
Well, I would absolutely welcome that. And I think we could take this show on the road. So
Hey.
I'm here for that. Well, as we come to an end, I have to just tell you all again, collectively, thank you. Thank you for what you brought to the platform, but thank you for just being willing to share what a sisterhood is and who the divas are. And I'm sure this is not going to be the last time that we see the divas on All About the Experiences Living Without Limits. That's for sure. As we close, I would love to have one of you beautiful divas say our benediction and close or open the Sabbath, if you will. I don't want to be like how you guys would do me. I need a volunteer.
Janice, I'll volunteer you.
And I
Yes.
knew I was going to volunteer you. Let's bow our heads. Lord, thank you for this time. Thank you for Cheryl and what you're doing through her with this podcast. Thank you for the love that you give us. Thank you for allowing us to let you shine through us, because you are the source of our joy and our being. Trust in you, trust in each other. That's the key, that's the foundation. And we thank you for being the glue that brings us together. Bless us as we go into this Sabbath day and help us all to be your light so that others will see you in us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
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 My heart is absolutely full.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Well, thank you. And as I always say before I close out the podcast is, it's really important that we touch base with each other. And obviously you all do that. I love this whole not only the podcast, but just the texting community that you have amongst all of you. And I just think that that's truly important to already know that this group of divas is checking in with each other and making sure that they're okay. But even more importantly, and I think Auntie Noelette says this, you have to check in with yourself. And, we know that just based on your book, that Monday mornings are, sometimes people don't see Monday mornings. And so with that being said, I wish nothing but positivity, love, light, and a continued foundation in your faith. And I know that that's what I tap into. And I'm very fortunate because I have this panel of aunties that are here to remind me and reassure me of that. And so with that being said, I hope that you all have an experiential filled weekend. I know that Mother's Day is approaching very quickly. So happy Mother's Day to you all.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you. And thank you for standing in the gap for me. That means so much to me. So thank you, ladies. And I appreciate you blessing this platform.
You made a memory for us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right.